What's up, Algebra 2? Here we are with another lesson. Radical operations. Up first we have adding and subtracting, and our goal is going to be to simplify first, simplify these radicals and reduce them, then look for any common radicals to put together, and combine and simplify. So for the square root of 98, we're going to split that up into 49 times square root of 2 for a 7 radical 2 minus 2 times radical 32. We're going to split 32 up into 16. Square root of 16 times the square root of 2. Okay, square root of 16 is going to be 4. Alright, put that together. Negative 2 times 4, we'll have 7 radical 2 minus 8 radical 2. Okay, and then adding and subtracting radicals are a lot like adding and subtracting variables. They have to have the same letter, or this time it's the same radical, in order to combine them. So these are both radical 2's, so we can put them together for a negative 1 radical 2, or just negative radical 2. Alright, let's have you push pause and try the top right here on your own. Ready, set, go. Okay, check it out. We're going to split 12 up with radical 4, radical 3. Square root of 4 is 2. 5 times 2, 10 radical 3. 27, we're going to go 9 and 3. Square root of 9 is 3. 2 in the front, 2 times 3 is 6 radical 3. 128, we got 64 times 2. Square root of 64 is 8. Okay, so we have 10 radical 3 plus 6 radical 3 minus 8 radical 2. These are both radical 3's, so we can put them together. 10 plus 6 is 16 radical 3 minus 8 radical 2. So the key for those is to break them down, simplify, and look for common radicals to combine. This is a test type question. There'll be one similar to that on your test. Next we have multiplying. And to multiply with these, we're going to use the FOIL technique or distributive property. Okay, we're going to do first, outside, inside, last. Or I like to think of it as just taking this one to both of those, and then this one to both of those. So we're going to take the 4 to both things in the other set. Okay, 4 times 5 should be 20, no big deal there. 4 times negative 7 radical 2. We can do the 4 times the 7. The 4 does not go into the radical 2. When you're mixing in, when you're multiplying with these, you cannot mix and match. So regular numbers get times or multiplied to regular numbers, and radical parts go with radical parts. If they're not the same, you just put them together and leave them alone. You don't actually multiply it out. So we're going to go minus 28 radical 2. Okay, then we're going to take square root of 3 to both, and this is what I'm talking about. Radical 3 times regular 5, they're not the same, so we can't combine them in any way. We're just going to go plus 5 radical 3. And then when I take this radical 3 to this one, this is a radical, so it's going to go to the radical. We'll have minus 7 radical 6. Radical 3, radical 2, radical 6. Now we look to see if we can reduce any of the radicals. Nope. Any matching radicals? Nope. Any like regular numbers that we can combine? Nope. This 28 is attached to a radical 2, so you cannot put this over here with that. So that's it. You just multiply that one out and it was done. Okay, next one. 2 radical 3 times radical 2. we'll have 2 radical 6. 2 radical 3 times 4 radical 3. 2 times 4 will have plus 8. Okay, and just for this one, we're going to go super slow motion and call radical 3 times radical 3. We're going to call it radical 9. I know a lot of you might be ready to call that regular 3 and have 8 times 3 written down. I want to go super slow motion just for this first one, and then we'll speed it up on the next one if it happens again. Minus 5 radical 2 times radical 2, same thing. We're going to go minus 5 radical 4. Even though a lot of you are probably ready to call that minus 5 times 2, we'll do another step. And then 5 times 4 will have minus 20. The 2 with the 3, radical 6. Okay, so we've got 2 radical 6 plus 8 times 3 minus 5 times 2. Simplifying those radicals, right? Square root of 4 is 2, square root of 9 is 3. 8 times 3, we have plus 24. Minus 5 times 2, we got minus 10. And now we look to put some things together. We can put our regular numbers together. 24 minus 10, that's going to be 14. And our radical 6's together. 2 radical 6 with a negative 20 radical 6 for a negative 18. Or a minus 18 radical 6. That had a little bit more work in it, okay? Now, the more we do, the more comfortable you're probably going to be with like 2 radical 3 times 4 radical 3 and calling it 8 times 3. Because you're going to be used to calling a radical times its same radical is just going to be the regular 3. If you like going through this extra step of radical 9 and then reducing it down, you can do that. I would prefer you not jump right from 2 radical 3 times 4 radical 3 right to 24. Give me at least this step. Give me a step somewhere before that so I can see what you're doing. Okay, and then we have dividing. Dividing. Not much of a division problem other than the initial setup. The rest of it is going to be multiplication. So in a previous lesson we talked about how it's not good proper math grammar or etiquette to have a radical in the denominator for your final answer. So if we had a radical 5, we'd multiply the top and bottom by radical 5, and that would take care of it. We'd have 2 radical 5 on the top over a regular 5 on the bottom. But now, with another number on the bottom, that's going to complicate it. Because if we multiplied the bottom by radical 5, yeah, that'd be regular 5. But when I multiply the minus 1 by radical 5, I still have a radical in the denominator. So we've got to come up with something else. And that something else is conjugates. Fancy math word that means the exact same thing with the opposite sign in the middle. So we're going to copy that. Radical 5 minus 1. Well, plus 1, because we want the opposite sign. Plus 1. 1. A little bit better. Okay? And sometimes kids like to put parentheses around it. You don't have to, but sometimes people like to do that. Okay, the top's usually not that big of a deal, not that bad. 2 radical 5 plus 2. Okay, and then going across the bottom, radical 5 times radical 5. We're going to call it regular 5 this time. Skip that step of square root of 25. Okay, now this is why we use the opposite sign. Watch this. Radical 5 times 1 plus radical 5. Negative 1 times radical 5. We have minus radical 5. And those cancel out. And then we have minus 1 times 1. So we got 2 radical 5 plus 2 over 5 minus 1 over 4. Okay? And something else to watch out for, just like this, you do all that hard work, make sure we double check. 2, 2, 4, these are all divisible by 2. We're going to have radical 5 plus 1 over 2. Good work. Take a look at that again. Make sure we have that down. Maybe rewind and watch it again, because you got the next one on your own. Ready, set, go. All right, make sure we're using that opposite sign, radical 3 minus 2. Okay, it was a plus. We're going to use minus this time. We should get 3 radical 3 minus 6 on the top. Then we're going to get regular 3 minus 2 radical 3 plus 2 radical 3 cancels out with a minus 4. 3 minus 4 is going to be negative 1 on the bottom. I'd be happy if you got there today, but reducing this, 3 radical 3 over negative 1, it's going to be negative 3 radical 3, negative 6 over negative 1, it's going to be plus 6. All right. One more to go. You can do it. Same process. 2 radicals this time on the bottom. Uh-oh. Double the radicals, double the fun. You can do it. Ready, set, go. All right, let's see how you did. Okay, we're going to use radical 3 plus radical 2. Again, no surprises on the top. You might come across one on your homework where there's something like a radical on the top, so you might actually have to do something. But across the bottom, we should get regular 3 plus radical 6 minus radical 6, and those will cancel. Minus 2. 3 minus 2 is going to be 1. And that's it. 4 radical 3 plus 4 radical 2 over 1. You don't even need the over 1. Okay? So 3 types of problems today. Add, subtract, multiply. And that, I think, should take us to the end of our unit. We'll have another worksheet day tomorrow, and we'll wrap it up. Thanks for watching, and good luck.